So I'm going to conduct a little experiment here, and it all started when looking at the plans for the brackets. In fact, let me just walk you over and show you. There are basically 3 sheets on the plans that describe brackets, and that's what they're dedicated to. And these are the 2 that are wing brackets. There's another sheet that's got some other brackets, I think, but these are the ones I'm working on now. These are all 1/8 inch aluminum, and they specify how big to make the holes and what size to ream them to. Ream 3/16, 1/4 inch, ream 4 of them. But some of them say ream 0.187. Now 3/16 of an inch is 0.1875. And the question then is it important that I find a 0.187 reamer? Well, as far as I can tell, they don't exist. And there are other holes in other brackets that are the same purpose as these, either interplane struts or the wires between the wings. And they say 3/16. Here's another one that says 0.187, 0.187, 0.187. Another one, 0.187. But let's see, where did I see the 3/16? Oh, right here. So these holes, this hole, those all say 0.187, and those are for the interplane struts or the wires. Well, that's what these holes are for too. And this says ream 3/16. And since I couldn't find a 0.187 reamer, and my Grizzly set that I bought has an over reamer and an under reamer for each size. That's right here. These are all the same size. These are the same as these. But this is an over reamer. These are under reamers. So these would ream a little bit bigger. These would ream a little bit tighter. So do I use this, or do I use just a 3/16 reamer? And there's not a 0.187, so this is the question I'm going through. So this is a Grizzly reamer. I've got the over and under. This is something I bought at a local hardware store. They just had a pile of them on the back shelf. It's kind of a strange looking reamer. It actually has a pointy tip on it and a little taper here, then it's straight. So you can just drill a hole with this guy. And then this is just a standard 3/16 inch reamer. These are all 1/4 inch, so I'm doing the experiment with 1/4 inch. But it should tell me the same information. So this one I've just thrown in for fun. I don't have a 3/16 one of those. That's why I'm doing the 1/4 inch instead, just so I can include this one in the mix, just for fun. But it should give me the same information. What I'm going to do is drill and ream holes. Or I'm going to drill 4 holes slightly undersized, which is what you would, I think it's 11/64ths, or no, it's 15/64ths, that's a 64th under. And then I will drill 4 holes with that and ream them with the 4 different bits, the over and under, this tungsten one just for grins and giggles, and then this is just a standard 3/16 reamer, brand new, just got it from MSC. And we'll see how the bolts fit through the holes. Actually, I've already tried it with an under on the 3/6, or no, it was a 1/4 inch, and the bolt won't fit without being forced. The threads actually, you have to start threading it and it messes up the metal. So under, I know, is out, but I'm going to do all 4 now anyway, just for a complete test. And once I've got all the holes, I'll show you how the bolts fit. And based on that, I'll determine what reamers I'm going to use for the project. I'm guessing I'll probably just end up using these interstate reamers. One's 3/16, one is 1/4 inch. But we'll see. Alright, I got this clamped in place. I'll drill it with my 1/4 inch bit here. and then I'll remove the drill bit and ream it, all clamped in place without moving it, so that we get the best possible hole. Alright. So this is the Grizzly over. That's what we want to use for this one. Over, and this is 1/4 inch. That looks right. Alright. Put a little lubricant on it. WD-40. Should be good for aluminum. Just like that. Done with this reamer. Just scoot the table, I think, is the easiest way to do that. There we go. Tighten it back down. Grizzly under. Alrighty. Grizzly under. Now this one, I don't expect the bolt to even go in the hole. Little WD-40. And I've got the drill press running at a little bit slower speed, just for the sake of the reamer. I might run it a little faster if all I were doing was drilling, but I knew I'd be reaming too and don't want to be switching the belts constantly to get a faster speed for the drill and a slower speed for the reamer, because you want to ream at a little bit lower speed, and I think this is fine for 1/4 inch. Alright, so this piece is done. Grizzly over and under. Alright, now tungsten, and then just the standard 3/16 high-speed steel. There we go. Let's scoot the table back so we can clamp it close to the edge. I really should get a drill press vise. That'd be nice, but I don't have a jaw right now, so no vices for me right now. Alright, now that tungsten router, or you know what I'm going to do with the tungsten reamer, is what I meant. It actually drills, and I think just for fun, I'll use it the way it can be used, the way it's made to be used. There it is. There's a close-up on the tip of the tungsten reamer. You can see that it's meant for drilling there. And then the first ½ inch or so is tapered. And then beyond that, it's just, I think, a pretty standard straight flute reamer. Alright. So let's see if I can drill and ream a hole in one fell swoop. Put some WD-40 on there. Into the wood, so we're all the way through. Back to the drill bit. Now this is a brand new, never before used Interstate 3/16 inch reamer that I'll use for this last hole. Clamp the table. Here we go. Take it out of its nice little package. Put some lube on it. And here goes nothing. This is the standard 3/16 inch high-speed steel. It's like $17, so way more expensive than the Grizzlies reamer. Just like that. Now we'll see how the bolts fit. Now, apparently WD-40 takes off Sharpie ink. So, alright, Grizzly over. Definitely wiggle room. Grizzly under. Now this is surprising because when I drilled a hole that using a 3/16 reaming 3/16 under, I think that was not reamed. There's one that I reamed with the 3/16 under and I couldn't get this through, but this under, it fits. Now someone on the internet yesterday told me that these aircraft bolts have a tolerance of several thousandths. So I suppose it's possible that other samples of this bolt might not fit in there. Let me actually grab the bag and see if any of them fit differently. I think that would be interesting to discover. These are AN4-14A. So I'm curious. Under. That fits, and that's a nice fit. The over definitely has more wiggle room. I will not use a Grizzly over reamer. That's pretty good. That's the one I think I used before. Those all fit nice. They seem pretty similar. If any of these are several thousandths bigger, I can't tell. It's not obvious. They all wiggle a little bit. Ooh, now this one might be a little bit snugger. I don't know. I've got a digital caliper in the house. Maybe I'll measure these just for fun. Alright, that's the Grizzly over and under. Over, I won't use. The Grizzly under reamer, I could use that. Here's the tungsten guy, the one I just drilled straight through with the reamer, which then reamed it. That kind of feels a little bit more like the Grizzly over reamer. And then this is just a brand new, actually it's 1/4 inch, I wrote 3/16, it's 1/4 inch high-speed steel. That honestly doesn't feel any different than the Grizzly under reamer. Actually. And if I've mistakenly said 3/16 in this video anywhere, I've meant 1/4, because this test is with the 1/4 inch. Huh. So the that one may be similar to the Grizzly under. So I would say the tungsten might be a little bit looser, maybe similar to the Grizzly over, but the Grizzly under and the international, or no, interstate 3/16, those seem similar. So there you have it. Grizzly over, I wouldn't use the tungsten. I bought that just more out of interest to see what would happen. The Grizzly under or the just a standard 3/16, I think probably either of those will be the way that I'll go. I may do this test again with the 3/16 to see if it's any different. There you go. Hope that helps. Alright, so got my digital caliper here and it's zeroed out. Just for fun, let's see what these bolts measure. 0.2465, it's a little bit under. 0.247, 0.247, 0.2465, 0.247, they're pretty consistent, huh? 0.247, 0.2465, 2465, 247, and 247. Wow, super consistent. Here's the 3/16, that should be 0.1875. It's 0.187. So it's a little bit under. So I've got a Grizzly over. Goes through there just fine. Pretty good fit. Grizzly under, it does what I told you from doing this previously. The Grizzly under, this won't fit. Well, let's see. I mean, I can start to screw it. Ugh, I can't even screw it in. And this last hole right here, this one, is just with the standard 3/16 high-speed steel, that new one that I got, and it's the same as the Grizzly under, which is consistent. This Grizzly under and this interstate 1/4 inch fit about the same. This interstate and this Grizzly under fit about the same, which actually, all right, this one's a little bit looser. I can actually screw the screw in. All right, so that's snug. So now I'm up on the smooth part of the shank, past the threads. So other than screwing it in, it's a nice fit, but it is tight. Huh. So on 3/16, yeah, the threads definitely are tight. I don't like that, because if you damage that surface with the threads, I think that's probably not good. Maybe I can run this reamer in and out a few times to get just a tiny bit larger size. 0.1875 is 3/16. And this is 0.187. 0.187. So this is actually a teeny tiny bit less than 3/16, just like these were a tiny bit less than a quarter. I guess they make them a few thousandths undersized so they will fit a hole that's exactly 250 thousandths or 187.5 thousandths. But this is interesting. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the 3/16, because the Grizzly Over actually is a pretty good fit. I may use the Grizzly Over for these. For the 3/16. 187. Yeah, it's 0.187 in the plans. In most places, said ream to 0.187. Except in a few places, for the same bracket location, it said 3/16. So let me run this reamer through it again and just see what happens. It'll loosen up a little bit, but I just want to see how much. Well, yeah, using that small one leaves thread marks. I can see thread marks in there for both the Grizzly Under and for this guy. So I'm inclined to use the Grizzly Over for these 3/16. Because it is a good fit. Since I haven't built the plane before, I just don't know how tight it's supposed to be, but the Grizzly Over, it is a really good fit. With very little wiggle. Actually less than, or maybe the same as this Grizzly Under and the 1/4 inch. Just a tiny bit of wiggle, but good surface finish and a good fit. And I can't help but thinking that it would be bad to force this in here to have to screw it and leave thread marks in there. So I'm going to go with the Grizzly Over. So bottom line, when it comes to reamers and the holes and bolts for your plane, if you're building this plane with these sizes, I would get whatever reamers you think you want to use, drill and ream some test holes, see how they fit, and then make your decision on which reamers to use. I'll probably go with either the Interstate. I'll probably just use the Interstate or the Grizzly Under. I'm not sure. For the 1/4 inch, and I'll use the Grizzly Over for the 3/16. But drill your own holes, test your reamers, and see how the bolts fit, and make your decision.